Understanding how to start match-winning points, how to spot and punish your opponent's mistakes, different ways to avoid mistakes, and punishing premature attacks. In this video, I'm gonna be showing you how to do that at all different levels. Stick around. And really quick, if you're new here, Pickleball Playbook is a place that you can come to learn strategies, tactics, and techniques to help take your pickleball game to the next level. So if that sounds like you, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We upload new videos every single week. And a huge thank you to those that are already subscribed. I appreciate you a ton. Let's open the playbook. So all the points that you're about to see throughout this video happened in a morning league that we played in, and it had all different levels. So I'm gonna be showing you in order, all the way from 4.4 duper to 5.5 duper. So we'll watch the point and then we'll analyze it. That was crazy. Okay, so something to pay attention to is high percentage shots here. We're focused on making the most high percentage shots, and we can allow our opponents to make the mistakes by popping up the ball. So first of all, a nice deep serve with height, a fantastic return here. Nice and deep. Now, something specifically with the return. If you return the ball up the line, that's gonna put the ball on you faster. So if you return directly up the line, it's a shorter distance to you. If you return the ball cross court, it's gonna put it on your partner faster. Okay, it's gonna give you more time to transition. So a good return is cross court because it gives you more time to transition since your partner is already up at the net. The near right side player is already sitting up at the net, so he doesn't need to transition. If you return up the line, you need to get up to the net as quickly as possible. That said, the further out that you return to, so let's say that I return the ball super far cross court, the further cross court I return to, the bigger angles I'm giving my opponents to work with. So they can hit the ball down the line, drop it up the middle, drop it way cross court, and put me out of position. So you don't want to go too far cross court really ever with the return unless your opponents are really cheating towards the middle. But you do want to go cross court with your returns to give yourself time to transition. Okay, so return goes up the line, drop goes cross. When we drop the ball, we want to go cross court 99% of the time because it travels the furthest distance. Our entire goal as the far side team, as the people that serve the ball, is to get up to the net. And so it'll give us the most time to get up to the net if we hit that drop cross court because the ball has to travel the furthest distance. Okay, he now hits it up the line. I now drop up the middle / cross court, giving us time. It's over the lowest part of the net. It's the highest percentage shot. And now we're coming in and we're applying pressure. As you can see, he's on his back foot hitting this shot, and so we're in control now. Even though we're both at midcourt, we're moving forward. He's on his back foot, we're in control. Slight pop-up, half to attack, and I'm taking that ball down the line. Now I have options here. I could take this ball up the middle. I could take it huge angle cross court, which is gonna be probably the least high percentage shot that I'd be comfortable hitting, or I could put it down the line, which I hit a lot of the time, so I'm comfortable with it. Down the line's great because it puts your opponent in that chicken wing position here. So they're in this awkward position to hit that shot. If I hit up the middle, they're both in the middle, so it could cause some confusion, but also they're both there. So I wouldn't say it's gonna be as high percentage as if I go down the line. Something to keep in mind, you go down the line though, you don't have as much court to work with as if you were to go up the middle or cross court. So go down the line, it creates a pop-up. We gotta make sure that we're ready for that pop-up. So notice I speed up, and I'm instantly changing to my forehand side because that's where I recognize the ball is. I probably saved him here. Probably should have let that ball go. And then that's legit, literally between his legs. Gotta love it. And then we're putting that ball away. Notice I'm in front of my partner here. We're not worried about getting in each other's way. We're worried about getting out of the other person's way. Because if someone's in control of the point and hitting the previous shots, it's gonna make way more sense for me to come in with my forehand than for my partner to come in with their backhand, which is gonna be a weaker shot than my forehand, and vice versa with him. All right, point number 2 of the 4.4 match. So a pretty crazy shot. Honestly, not even sure if that's legal. He might have crossed the plane of the net. It looks like he does from here, but I don't know. So if you cross the plane of the net is anywhere above where the net is. Prior to contact with the ball, it's an automatic fault. Whether you do that on the side of the net with your foot or you do it over the net with your paddle, that's a fault. And so in this situation, if he makes contact on our side of the net with the ball, we're good. If he makes contact on their side of the net, we're not good. Automatically their point. So kind of an interesting rule. Anyways, honestly, a great serve, nice deep in the court. Return comes in a little bit shallow up the middle. This is a good ball to drive. It's not necessarily high, it's not necessarily low, but what we're watching for is where the returner is at when I'm making contact, or we're anticipating where they're gonna be at based off of the deep serve, right? And so as you can see, I'm not to mid-court yet, and that's the key tail sign that you wanna drive this ball at the returner. If you can drive it at the returner, they're in a defensive position. They're not in a great position to be offensive. It's gonna set us up for an easier drop. He drives at me, but it's not far enough over. So my partner comes in, hits the volley, and he places it. Now they're in a defense mode, okay? And notice this, his partner steps back from this position. His partner should be about here, okay, in the court, and he should be hanging out here until he sees what happens with this drive. Okay, you stay back in that defensive position until you get an offensive opportunity. So it's drive, and then it's gonna be a drop, and then you're gonna be able to transition up to the net. So he drives that ball, and then it's the drop. So his partner should be back here, ready for that drop in case it came to him. Then when you get a good drop, you can continue to transition forward. Okay, this drop is slightly low, but it's not fantastic. So I'm able to put an angle on the ball, pull him off the court. We finish the point with an ATP. And this is because he's out of position here, his partner. So he comes back a little bit, but he's not back far enough. And so now he's on his back foot as he's trying to now move out towards this ball. So instead, just stay back, do the drive drop combo. Drive, stay back, look what happens with the next ball. Then you can drop that next shot and come into the net. Then you're not gonna be in such a defensive position. Sometimes you drive the first ball, drop the second, drop the third, fourth. You're just waiting for that good opportunity, and then you're getting up to the net as fast as a Ferrari. But as you can see, he's just slightly out of position there. Okay, last one from the 4.4 match. Fantastic shots. So what he does really good here is he keeps us back. Specifically, he keeps the same person back, and the same person is the person that's the closest to the net. So watch how this point transpires. We got a return, okay, slightly short. I'm driving this ball, or no, I dropped it, never mind. Super high, horrible drop. Slams it, we get the first one back, which is great. We're just trying to stay in the point. We're trying to keep the ball as high as possible. So it's a good opportunity to lob until you get comfortable, and then you can drop that ball into a more high percentage shot. Drives it again. So notice, he could drive these balls at me, overhead these balls at me. I'm on that our far right side, but I am a further distance from him, and this is a huge mistake that I see, specifically at this level, honestly, is the player will hit that overhead to the player that's further away. And I don't know if this is because they maybe feel bad for the player that's directly in front of them or not. But if you put that ball at the shoelaces of the player that's closer to you, they have less time to react. So it's a pretty obvious principle, but a lot of people don't follow it. So he's putting it on him. I'm much further distance away, so he's making the correct decision. And then he puts the ball away. So a fantastic thing to do, put it on the player that's closest to you. If someone's standing directly up at the net and you hit them, that's their fault. They should be backing up. Okay, now we're on to the 4.5 match. Okay, good point. They played good defense, but they just didn't go for the highest percentage shots. So let's analyze it. Come in here, return, I'm returning down the line because they're stacking. So stacking is where both players are starting on one side of the court. And so I see that side of the court's open. I'm trying to put it down the line. Not a very great return though. It's not deep enough to apply much pressure. He drops cross court from this position. Great decision. And then here he's just late contact. And so he's coming up the line. It's really all he can do because his first drop was so high. I'm going cross court there. I probably should have put this ball back down the line to apply a little bit more pressure because cross court's a further distance, but not the biggest deal. And then she comes and she's hitting this drop, fantastic drop. And now she's set up for success and she hits this next ball up the middle. Instead, this ball here has to go cross court. I should feel pressure. You should be pulling me off of the court with this drop because she's comfortable. And so since she's in such a comfortable position, she's gonna hit the highest percentage shot and throw me off the court. I mean, she gets a double whammy. It's fantastic for her. Instead, she hits it up the middle and now she's in a defensive position, pops up the ball, he recognizes the Ernie, jumps the line. And so a really good way to recognize an ernie, which an ernie is where you're jumping over the side of the court and hitting the ball from a closer trajectory. The way that you can recognize it is by your opponent's head being down. So if their head is down and they're reaching out towards the ball, that's when you want to jump. And let's say that you jump and you were wrong, you'll have time to get back, because whenever your opponent's head is down, they're not going to be hitting an offensive shot. They're going to be on defense. Another thing to pay attention to is don't watch necessarily just your opponent, watch their paddle face. A lot of players will just focus on the opponent. Watch their paddle face where it's facing prior to contact. You see it's pointing up the line, then you can jump the line. Puts that ball away. All right, into point number 2. Great high percentage shot. Okay, so this is what happens most often, I would say, around these levels, is that players will hit out balls all the time. So as you can see here, she actually does a tennis motion. She's a fantastic tennis player, like really good, played college tennis. Anyway, she's cutting underneath the ball. You'll see this happen pretty often at this level. Instead, we want to be coming over the ball in pickleball. And that's one of the key differences between tennis and pickleball is you have to get used to hitting every volley with topspin, unless you're hitting a defensive volley, then it's going to be underspin. But instead, as you can see, she's cutting into the ball. If we cut into the ball is going to continue to float. The spin's just going to make it float out. And so you're not hitting a very high percentage shot by doing that. Instead, you come over the ball hitting topspin. It's going to bring the ball down. So I want to make sure that you're hitting topspin. Next thing to pay attention to, my partner and I let that ball go, right? He has a chance to hit it, and this is his shot to hit. I'm covering the line, he's covering the middle. He's following wherever that ball goes. So this is known as respecting the X. And essentially what it is if the ball is ever directly in front of you, you're covering the line and your body. If the ball is ever across from you, okay, an X across from you, you're covering the middle of the court. So my partner on the near side right, the ball is across from him. His job is to cover the middle. The ball, I'm the near side left player and the ball's directly in front of me. My ball is always to cover the line, and then you don't really want to stray from this. So making sure that you're covering that ball. And so like I was talking about, big mistake that players make is that they'll hit these out balls at this level. And so if it's chest high, shoulder high, you want to let it fly. And it's going to depend on your height. So maybe it's chest for some, maybe it's shoulders for others, maybe it's waist for giants. But it's going to be different depending on your height, so you need to figure that out. And you're not going to be able to let out balls go out just from knowing that. It's going to come from getting out and getting reps in, letting out balls go out. So having your partner go out there and feed speed ups at you and figuring out which ones to take and which ones to let go. And it's trial and error, where you're like, oh yeah, I let that one go and it was actually in. But the good thing is that you're drilling, so it doesn't matter. So you can just continuously let those balls go out over and over and over again, even though they're going in, and you'll slowly figure out where that height is, where that sweet spot is, just from repetition. And that's actually one of the main reasons why I came out with the Pickleball Drills app. So it's an app, just like how it sounds, that has hundreds of different drills that you can go and watch video instruction on not only how to do the drill, but it'll give you specific tips according to whatever your duper level is. So whether you're a 3.0 or you're 5.5, it has drills in there specifically that will challenge you at your level so that it's not too advanced and it's also not too easy. I actually wanted to provide this app just to help you guys improve your pickleball game, because I've seen how it's improved my pickleball game. When I first started playing pickleball, I never drilled. And then when I started drilling, I went from losing a 4.0 tournament to winning a 5.0 tournament within the period of about 3 months. And that was just simply from getting out and getting those reps in. So if you need to know what drills to do and you want specific instruction from top level players, including pros, download the Pickleball Drills app. It's on Google Play and the App Store. It will help you improve your game. And I've said this before and I'll say it again, I just want to see you guys win. That's why I created the app. So if for whatever reason your 7-day free trial is up, your card gets charged and you say, hey, you know what, the app's not for me, just shoot us an email, we'll refund you, no questions asked. Again, we just want to see you win. All right, next point here. Okay, really good defense from the opponents. First of all, return comes up the middle, it's slightly short. He chooses to drop, is that a drive? That is a drive. This should probably be dropped, and I would specifically be dropping it either to the player directly up the line from me, since he's so far back. I could really pull him off the court, or just simply go cross court, high percentage. Instead, he kind of feeds the ball to me, and now I'm able to keep him back. And then I'm going here, I'm trying to act like I'm going up the line, and then I go cross court. Great reset, slightly high though. putting the ball at the player. As soon as I finally put the ball at the player that's closer to me, then I get a really big pop-up. So I should have done this earlier, instead put it at the player in front of me because, like how we talked about before, it takes more time away from them. Okay, then I'm hitting a backhand overhead. Something interesting with the backhand overhead is if you watch it in reverse, watch this, this will blow your mind. It's an overhead, like a forehand overhead. Okay, watch that one more time. Forehand overhead. And so when you're practicing the technique of a backhand overhead, which next to nobody can do, you're just doing the absolute opposite of what you do with a forehand. So you can practice that throwing motion and then do the opposite, absolute opposite direction. And then obviously the more that you get reps in, the faster you can hit the ball. But that's a tip that was told to me right when I first started playing tennis. And it was a game changer for figuring it out. Okay, then we're going cross court, high percentage shots. She here, look at this perfect drop. Do you see where she's at? Far left side player, our far left, way back. She should be up at the net, almost just hovering over the kitchen. Because I'm in a defensive position here, there's not much I can do other than hit this ball cross court. Would she have been able to hit that ball? No, because I'm going for the highest percentage shot, which isn't going to be up the line. I'm assuming that she's already up there, but she's not. Okay, and then he pops up this ball slightly high, and now I can get a forehand overhead on it, which my forehand is like 800 times more powerful than my backhand, which I feel like is the same case for all of you out there. Some people have a better backhand, like my partner, for instance. His backhand is, he can hit it way harder than his forehand, which is crazy to me. Anyways, just a couple of things to analyze from that point. As soon as you can put that ball away, as it goes over, and he provides an angle for us. Notice the angle I'm hitting this ball on. I'm way off of the court, and the ball is above shoulder height. Since it's above shoulder height and I'm pushed off of the court near the sideline, I can now hit angles, either hit a winner or pull my opponent off the court and put the next shot away. If instead he hits this ball up the middle, a lob, I'll have a lot harder time putting that ball away, especially if he can get depth on it. So if you're ever in a scramble on defense, hit the ball, lob it up the middle of the court and try to get it as deep as you can. Don't aim for the back line. Keep it in, obviously. Try to get it deep and up the middle. It takes away your opponent's angles and their ability to put the ball away. It'll keep you in the point longer and give you the best opportunity to turn that defense into offense. Okay, now we're gonna head into the 4.6 level matchup. Okay, just a little bit of a fun point. So we got the return going up the line. Notice here, he's aiming for feet. There's one person with feet inside the court, the other person doesn't have feet inside the court. Find the feet. Find the feet if you have an offensive opportunity. Since he's making contact with this ball above net tape, that's an offensive opportunity. So because of that, we want to hit the feet of our opponent. He's going to the player that's further in the court, probably the player that's closer to him as well. Okay, now he's in that defensive position, but he hits a perfect drop from this position. So now we're using a little bit of manipulation running around the ball. We're opening up our paddle face. This is something that you can practice, but specifically as you're running around the ball, open your paddle face up. If your opponents see that your paddle face is open prior to you speeding up the ball, they're gonna assume you're dinking that ball specifically cross court. So I have my paddle face open in this position, open, 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 and then I roll over the ball. Just simply doing a windshield wiper down the line, and then we get that ball a couple of feet in. Okay, on to the next 4.6 duper point. Oh, that's a really good shot. It's actually going wide, but we'll analyze that in just a second. So, drop goes up the middle of the court. Both players are up at the net and they're established. You have two options here. One, you can hit your drop cross court. You just don't want to go too far because that gives them an earning opportunity to jump over the kitchen. Or you can go up the middle. If you go up the line, that gives them the biggest earning opportunity because the ball is so much closer. Plus you have the greatest chance of popping the ball up since you have the least distance. So middle's a great shot. I would say it's 50-50 here if you want to go middle or cross. Middle's probably a little bit better because you're avoiding any earning chances. It's also the lowest part of the net. Okay, and then he speeds up this ball. Now, something that you'll see Logan do, who's my partner, is he'll speed up the ball from this position and he gets people caught on the right side. And so he'll do that a couple of times and then he'll speed it up down the line to their backhand, and they're typically late on it, which is what's happening here. He's slightly late, he pops up the ball, but it lands in the kitchen. So now there's not really much offense that I can create. So now I'm pulling him off the court, hoping for another pop-up. Hits a lefty. That's athleticism right there. Lefty shot, and then I pop up this ball. Huge mistake. What I probably should do is speed up the ball directly to the player in front of me because he's so far back, and get it at his feet. Now that we're all up at the net, I'm trying to get it at the player's feet that's closer to me. So it's the opposite of what we talked about before, until the ball goes above my head. As soon as it's above my head and I can hit it overhead, I'm putting it at the player that's closest. So if it's below my head, I'm putting it at the player that's further back, keeping them back. As soon as I get that overhead opportunity, I know I can smack that ball super hard. I'm putting it at the feet of the opponent directly in front of me. If they don't back up, they're probably gonna get a ball to the chest. Who knows what's gonna happen, right? They need to be backing up anyway. So keep that in mind too. Ball goes above your opponent's head, get back. Don't just stand there in concrete, which honestly happens more often than you'd think. Okay, I slightly pop this ball up. He hits this shot. This speed up can't possibly go back cross court to my backhand. If it does, the ball will have to go out, which is what I'm attempting to do. Let the ball go out, but I make contact with it. Since it's going to my backhand side, it has to go wide. He doesn't have enough court to work with. So I'm trying to get out of the way, and I tick that ball, okay? It's probably gonna go, I don't know, 2 to 3 feet out. But he hit it so hard that I didn't have enough time to get out of the way. Instead, this speed up, you're gonna have the best success, especially at higher levels, putting that speed up either down the line or up the middle of the court. Probably down the line is gonna be the best because it puts your opponent in that chicken wing position, and you avoid the big forehand in the middle, which is what I would prefer as the player playing defense on the shot. All right, on to the next point. Something to note here, I have no idea what happened during this match, I'm just saying in general. A lot of people will complain about this hitting the net here. This ball is going at body, point's over. Like it's gonna be over either way, and then it hits the net, and now the point's especially over. A lot of people will complain about this net shot here, when really, no, the point was already over anyway. So there's no need to complain in general, but specifically, like I'm hitting an overhead on this shot, the point's over, right? So a lot of people complain about that. When people complain about nets, I think that the best thing to understand is that you can't control what you can't control. And you can't control if the ball's gonna hit the net. You can't control if you're gonna hit the net every single time it's gonna drizzle over, or if your opponents are. Obviously, you're gonna get frustrated if your opponents do it 8 times in a row, right? But just remember that it happens to everybody, and there's no point in getting frustrated. You're not gonna play good by getting frustrated because someone ticked the net and won the point. Who cares? What goes around comes around, and you can't control what you can't control. Okay, this position, high percentage cross court, smart shot, he's on his back foot, and we're in. We're now on offense. They're on defense because he's on his back foot. So if he pops that ball up, point's almost gonna be over, but he hits a great low shot beneath the net. I'm rolling that shot up the middle. Now they're still on defense. Honestly, his shot would work probably at the 4-5 level, where this player's not gonna speed that ball up. Instead, they're gonna take a step back, either dink the ball out of the air or let the ball bounce. But because at the higher levels, we have the ability to be able to roll balls that are below the net like this, we can still create offense from this position, keep the ball low. Okay, now we're on offense, hitting an overhead, tips the net, point was over anyway. All right, on to the next one from the 4.6 duper level match. So pretty interesting point. Again, we're letting out balls go out. That one's fairly obvious because it's so high, but let's analyze the point and then we can talk about that. This serve is noticeably low, short in the court, probably because he notices he's standing so far back, or it was just, he accidentally hit it there. Okay, drive's going cross court because that's gonna give me more time to get back into the point from this position. They're already both established up at the net, and now I have more time to get into the point. Partner comes over, helps me out. He notices I'm off the court, and he drops that ball across court, as you should. Most high percentage shot. Okay, the drop is slightly high, he attacks. Good attack, probably should be attacking me though, because if he attacks cross court, he's giving him more time. We've talked about time a lot today, but you want to take the most time away from your opponents. So if he attacks me, I'm gonna have less time to react. I'm probably gonna be late contacting the ball. Okay, he hits a perfect reset off that shot. He's now in defense still, hits another reset, slightly higher reset, and he's back in it. Okay, and then we're in a cross-court dinking exchange. A lot of people, when they start getting into cross-court dinking exchange, will feel like they need to change it up. All that you need to focus on is hitting to different sides of your opponent's body that's cross-court from you. Don't focus so much on hitting the ball up the line. After you've been dinking for a while, and let's say that you're a 5-0 at the time, I would say 5-0 level, and you're dinking pretty often, then you can start getting comfortable hitting the dinks up the line. But for the most part, just go high percentage cross-court, and it'll really pay off. And you're not gonna get in your head of, oh, where should I be hitting this shot? Just go high percentage. When we get to analyze the 5.0 level matches, I can tell you guys a little bit more about dinking up the line and when you'd wanna do that. Okay, we speed up the ball here. A good thing about a two-handed backhand dink is that it looks like you're gonna speed up the ball or you could dink. It's a 50-50, they don't know what's gonna happen. If you speed up the ball, you're coming up the line or you're coming to their backhand. In this situation, I go to his backhand, late contact with the ball, but he does a perfect reset. Now they're on offense in this position. I choose to speed up the ball again. This isn't something that you'll see at 4.5 level, where they'll actually speed up the ball on their back foot. I'm very comfortable on my forehand side, and this is a change up. I'm not gonna do this every single time, but it's a change up to keep my opponents guessing. I speed it up, put him in that chicken wing position, and now I get a big, huge pop-up. He's probably not seeing that very often at his level, but at my level, it happens all the time. At higher levels, it happens all the time. They can speed up from any position. So take note of your level, take note of how much you've practiced that shot. I've practiced that shot so many times, speeding up on my back foot, I'm very comfortable with it. I'm not as comfortable with it on my backhand side, but definitely on my forehand side. And then we're letting out balls go out. Okay, the ball is slightly high, we're gonna let it fly. Okay, now we're on to the 4.7 level match. So the guy on the far right side, our far right, is one of the best dinkers that I've ever played against. He can just pull you off the court, and he's very forehand dominant, and he's a ping pong player. So a lot of people will watch how he plays and they'll be like, oh, he's a 2-5 just because of his form, but dude's really good. He's a 5-4. So the reason this is 4.7 is because his partner, and so I'm taking the average of both of them, but he's a fantastic player. And so what I would say is don't let people's form manipulate you. When someone's got reps in, regardless of what form they're using, they're really good. So he's a really good player. As you can see, he can just pull anybody in any position, and that's a laser beam. Notice where I'm putting this ball, trying to reset it. My goal is to get it to the middle. Now his partner didn't recognize, but he just had the most beautiful Ernie opportunity. Look at my head. I'm down on the ball. I'm outstretched. I'm looking down, right? Look at my paddle angle. Jump. Just jump the line. Go stand on the sideline. Go stand on the side of the kitchen. And then the point's over right there. He would have hit it now. And then I'm like, boom. But instead, he hangs back, lets the ball bounce, which isn't a horrible thing. He just missed out on that opportunity. And now we won the point instead, and it was all because of that. Okay, on to the next one. Really good point. So as you can see, there's two resets going on here that change the momentum from we're on defense to we go on offense. So drive this initial shot down the line. You want to hit the vast majority of your drives down the line. The reason you want to go down the line, it puts it on your opponent faster. If you go cross court, if I were to drive this ball cross court to the opponent that's coming up to the net, sure, he's not in a great position, but his momentum that's moving him forward, he's past mid-court at this point. He's gonna be hitting that at the kitchen line. And now my partner is pushed in, and so the person that's directly in front of him, who's my partner, is gonna have a difficult time reacting to the ball because I'm putting it on him faster. If I were to drop this shot though, I'd want to go cross court because it's going to take a long time to travel there. It's going to land, hopefully land in the kitchen, not give him a great offensive opportunity. Okay, so I'm driving up the line. It's difficult for this person to put this ball directly on my partner because I'm driving up his line. He has to change the entire angle of his paddle, plus react at the same time, plus contact out in front. It's just not a great position to put that ball cross court. So I'm giving us the best opportunity by driving that ball up the line. He resets the ball. When we're resetting, we're cutting underneath the ball, giving you a nice soft plush pillow. This ball is slightly high, he speeds it up, and now we're resetting again. And notice his reset goes cross court, right? It's an inside out reset, that's what it's called. My reset goes cross court. Okay, a lot of people will reset up the line and they're just punishing themselves. Not bad to reset up the line, but you're gonna have more distance to hit to, more margin for error if you hit cross court. Okay, and then I'm dinking up the line here. We'll talk about that a little bit later. He speeds up the ball in the perfect chicken wing position. Notice I'm hitting a backhand from this position. A lot of players will try to hit a forehand. Problem with a forehand is you're gonna hit the ball into the net because your paddle face is gonna be pointed downwards from this position. So you wanna be hitting a backhand all right here. Okay, just a nice dinking point, just moving each other around, trying to create offense, trying to pull each other off the court, get a pop up, or create a mistake, just like how you saw right there. Okay, on to the next point. High percentage. Okay, so first thing to analyze here, this drop, he goes cross court with it. Just a high percentage shot. A lot of players would try to drive this ball. Obviously he's not, he's a high ranked player. If you drive this ball, you're probably gonna instantly lose the point because all we have to do is place it at the feet of your opponent. And the reason for that is because we're already up at the kitchen line. So it doesn't really make much sense to drive the ball. All we have to do is hit down and we can win the point or keep you on defense longer. Instead he drops, and now look, partner was able to make it up to the kitchen and he was able to make it past mid-court. And now we're all up at the kitchen line. Okay, so high percentage, high percentage, high percentage. That's not a high percentage shot. It's slow enough to where it's probably going in. I end up hitting an overhead on it. And notice where I hit the ball. This is a mistake, okay? This is an error. Instead, I should be hitting this ball either cross court, which I probably don't have enough time to react and make contact with the ball early, or at the feet of the opponent that's directly in front of me. So I have my druthers with which one I can choose, but I should be hitting this at someone's feet. And instead I'm hitting it in front of his feet, gives him an opportunity to stay in the point. And then I get that one at his feet. Notice, it's even behind where his feet are, where it lands. Lands there, it's behind his feet. Now he's in a difficult position. So find the feet of your opponent, specifically find the feet of the opponent that's closer to you. When you're all up at the kitchen, again, a reminder, if you're all up at the kitchen, you get the ball above your head, you're going to the player that's closer to you. If the ball is below your head and you're all up at the kitchen, you're going to the player that's further back. You're trying to keep them back until you get that ball that's high. All right, last one from the 4.7 match. I was out. Is it a mistake? Yes. Did he go for the highest percentage shot? Yes. So it's not that it's a bad shot that my partner made by missing that shot. He's doing the right thing. It's just a simple mistake, okay? He put a little bit too much on it. Probably didn't get over the ball enough. It's not a bad shot though. It's a good shot, even though he missed. So keep that in mind. There's good shots in pickleball and there's bad shots. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're winning or losing the point. It means that you're going for the most high percentage shot. It means that you're going for the put away. It means that you're going for your opponent's feet. You're going for the shot that makes the most sense. Sometimes you miss, and it's not a big deal. You move on to the next point and you just keep going for the most high percentage shot. Okay, drop goes cross again. My partner comes over, hits a forehand. His forehand's gonna be more effective than my backhand typically, right? I'm going cross court here. I pull the opponent off of the court. Most high percentage shot. Now there's a big, huge opening here in the middle. My partner is anticipating that the player here on the near side, left side, near side left is gonna cover for his partner. So now he's trying to go big angle cross court, and he gets to it, and that's a fantastic reset. Really, really good. Okay, now we're in a cross court dink exchange, puts it up the line. Just trying to move each other around again, trying to get our opponents to pop up the ball. He speeds up this ball from this low position. You'll see this at all levels, but you won't see it effective where it's actually effective until you get above the 5-0 level, where players can actually do something with this speed up. In this situation, not the best location on the speed up. Probably should have come down the line if he's gonna do a sneaky speed up. But again, my partner's late making contact with the ball and he hits the ball long just from doing that. So remember, we're making good decisions. All this is coming down to is we're following the principles. High percentage shots, and we're trying to make our opponents pop up the ball so that we can hit offensive shots. We're trying to create offense. We do that by moving our opponents around and hitting high percentage shots. And sometimes we throw in change-ups like this, and sometimes they pay off. All right, now we're on to the 4.8 duper match. Okay, it's just a fun point, right? Okay, big deep serve. I'm gonna keep my opponent back from doing that unless they hit a fantastic return like that. So since he hits a fantastic return, I'm running around it hitting a forehand. My forehand's better than my backhand. If I can get around it, it's gonna make a little bit more sense for me because I can place the ball better, I can hit it harder. And I'm driving the ball down the line. Now something to pay attention to here, when I drive the ball down the line, I'm not aiming for the line, I'm not aiming for my opponent down the line. Okay, those two things. I'm not aiming for the line, and I'm not aiming for my opponent down the line. What I'm doing, or what at least I used to do, I don't have to do it anymore because it's ingrained in me, is I'm acting like there's a line that's 2 feet in from the sideline, and I'm hitting that line. What that does is it gives me a greater margin for error. It makes this shot, even though it's kind of a crazy shot, a higher percentage shot, because I'm aiming for an imaginary line inside the court. And if I don't hit that imaginary line, I'm either going to hit it slightly to the side of my opponent, okay, so he'll be able to make contact, we're still on the point, or I'm gonna hit it slightly to the side of that imaginary line near the sideline, and I'm not gonna miss it out wide. A lot of players will aim specifically for the line, and I used to do it all the time when I first started playing. It's aiming for the line. Instead, you're aiming a foot to 2 feet in from the line. That'll automatically take away so many errors. So many points will be extended just simply by following that principle. Whether you're hitting a drive, a drop, a dink, don't aim for the line. Aim 1 to 2 feet in from the line. All right, on to the next point from the 4.8 match. Really excellent decision making. I really love what the far side player did that's on the right, on our right, on the far side. Okay, return. We're in a scramble, and notice, we're hitting balls above our head at this point. So what should our opponents do? They should back up. And that's exactly what they do. Okay, balls above the head again, and my partner's feeling it. My job's to get the freak out of his way, right? So I'm just moving over to the side, allowing him to hit that overhead. He's just hit all the initial shots. He's got the groove, he's got the rhythm. Get out of the way. Okay, and then notice we're switching. I'm not just sitting behind him, I'm switching. I'm gonna go cover for him, and I'm gonna specifically say to him, switch, so that he knows. Okay, so now we've switched sides because all he's focused on is this ball. He's gotta know where I'm at. So I say switch. They're on defense, they're both back, making fantastic decisions. Hits a backhand. Okay, he notices right here, he recognizes, and he starts moving forward, that this ball is gonna land in the kitchen. And so because he recognizes that, he rushes the net. This isn't something that you see very often that players will do, but it gives you a great advantage. So he rushes the net, and then he attacks this next ball, and it puts the ball on your opponents faster than almost any other shot. Obviously an overhead's faster, but any other counter shot that you're gonna hit, it puts it on them faster because he's running up to the net as he's making contact. So he recognizes, and this is what you can do, is recognize that that ball's gonna land in the kitchen, and this is the sneak attack. Sprint forward as fast as a Ferrari, and you're gonna attack that next shot at your opponent's chicken wing position. They'll be late making contact. You're gonna get this over and over and over again because they'll have late contact. They're not used to that kind of speed because it's coming 5 to 10 miles per hour faster than it would if he was just standing in place. So the ball bounces in the kitchen, sneak attack, hit, wins the point. Now remember, you can also get into a really quick defensive position from doing this. So you need to be ready right after you make contact with that ball, get low and be ready for a ball to come back at your feet, because it can happen if they make early contact. Sometimes they'll shank the ball too, and it'll go right at your feet. You can't really help it, but just be ready to reset that ball back into the kitchen and then create something from there. A lot of players struggle by trying to create something from nothing, and so they'll be in a defensive position, or they'll go from an offensive position, they're feeling really good, to now their opponent hits the ball down at their feet and they speed up that ball. It's just making the right decision, the most high percentage decision. If the ball goes at my feet, I'm resetting. If the ball's high, I'm hitting the ball hard. Always making high percentage decisions, going cross court, stuff like that. Okay, next point. Okay, so this was, I don't know if this is the first ATP that we've seen, but an ATP is where the ball goes around the net post, okay? And it's a completely legal shot. A lot of you already know that, I know. But some people, this is their first time watching, so. Okay, drop goes cross court because it's the most high percentage shot. It's a double whammy because it's to the returner. The returner's not in as good a position as their partner. Double whammy. Okay, great placement of this shot by the far side, our far side right player. We're in a defensive position. What does he try to do with this ball? He tries to curve it back up the middle, because this is a great ball to Ernie. And at lower levels, he's gonna give you a ball directly up the line over and over again that you can jump over the kitchen and Ernie. Tries to put it back to the middle. Instead, it goes to the right side of his opponent's body. Great position. You're not gonna be able to Ernie that ball. Speeds it up again. That might have hit the net. I don't know. You tell me. One more. I think it did. Comment below if you think it did or didn't. I don't know. Okay, then he resets this ball. Notice this guy's attacking. My partner is back. He's at mid-court. It's not gonna make much sense to attack this ball because he's on his heels. He just barely reset a ball, and now he's trying to come back into the point. It's not gonna make sense to attack that ball. That's low percentage. Instead, he resets. Smart decision, not the best reset because it's slightly high, and now I'm trying to reset. Don't jump when you reset. Bad, okay? I should not be jumping. It's really hard for your eyes to focus. Your feet should be completely planted at the point of reset. But it still goes in because I've done so many reps, right? Pulls me way off the court, and right here, I recognize, okay, I could probably take this ball out of the air. I'm thinking in this position. And then right here, I recognize, oh, I got an ATP opportunity because the ball is landing so close to the sideline. So now I'm coming out, and notice my ATP is top spin, and I'm brushing over the ball because I want to bring it back down into the court. So I'm brushing over the ball as I make contact. My body is completely closed to the court, right? But notice, I'm not in a position where he can Ernie the ball, because I'm not on defense. I'm on offense because the ball has gone outside the plane of the net. It's gone outside the net post. So since it's gone outside the net post, I'm in an offensive position. If it was inside the net post and I'm looking down fully stretched on the ball, he should be jumping over the kitchen line. Since it's outside of the net post, he doesn't need to. And instead, he goes to the perfect position. He's backing up and going towards the sideline, which is exactly what you want to do when someone's hitting an ATP. The ATP defense, you're backing up and going towards the sideline to be able to reset that ball. And then he just misses it, right? It's a mistake. At the same time, we hit the ATP effective enough that he couldn't handle it. So serve, got to return. It's really short in the court. Vast majority of players, what are you gonna do? Think to yourself, what are you gonna do with this shot that's short in the court? Probably gonna drive it, but that's wrong. Just kidding, you're probably gonna drop it, and you're right. We're gonna drop this shot because not only is it short in the court, which is probably a good drive opportunity, but it's low. Since it's low, we just want to drop the ball and create offense from there. We're going to drop, we're going to get into a kitchen dinking battle. We're going to pull our opponents off the court, get a pop-up, get a mistake, create something, okay, from this position. If you drive this ball instead, it's going to get on your opponents really fast, and it's going to get back to you really fast. Also, from this position, it's hard to keep a drive in. Probably going to go long. So if you get up higher levels, they're going to get out of the way. The ball's going to go out. If not, they're simply going to block that ball at your feet as you're moving forward into the court from that low position. Since you're driving from a low position, you have to hit up. It's a really easy ball to counter. And then this drop goes slightly high, and now he has the ability to pull me off the court. I'm currently thinking, oh, we're in, right? And I make that judgment call too early because this ball is high. And then he pulls me way off the court. I can't even touch the ball, just a disgusting angle. That's exactly what you want to do from this position. Now we're on to the 4.9 duper level match. ATP defense, and the ball's out. So a good point for literally what we just talked about so that you guys can see. Serve, driving the ball. Now notice, I'm driving the ball even though the person up the line from me here technically, I mean, you could say it's the player that's in the white over there that's up the line from me. But no, the player that's up the line from me is the player that's on the side of the court that I'm going to be playing out the point, which is the left side of the court. So I'm driving the ball up the line because I want to keep the ball in front of me, okay? I'm also putting it, it's a double whammy again. He's returning the ball. I can put it on him faster. So now we're in this position. He drops the ball, makes a great decision, goes up the middle, lowest part of the net. He goes cross, another good decision. I go cross, and I pull it way too far out. Okay, this dink is high. He could probably even take this shot out of the air. Lets it bounce, recognizes the ATP, and he comes back, just like how we talked about before. He moves back and comes towards the sideline, my partner. Moves back, comes towards the sideline, drops the ball. Okay, now oh, it hit the net, that's what happened. He's pulling me off the court. I'm ATPing this 100%, and then it went out. Okay, just simply because it hit the net. But a good point, some principles to follow, making sure that we're backing up when we're on defense, and we're moving forward whenever we're on offense. Again, he drops to the middle. Middle's a fantastic drop. Also, it causes confusion in the middle because one partner might think that they're getting it and the other partner might think that they're getting it. The middle's very overlooked. So hit drops to the middle or cross court. Yeah, so that's all me. I set my partner up for failure there. And also the opponent's applying pressure. In this position, just to start it from here, this is mostly a kitchen point. I'm way more comfortable hitting a one-handed backhand dink, right? But with two hands, from this position, doesn't make much sense to be offensive. Instead, I'm gonna wanna really scoop around the ball like James Ignatowicz would. Scoop around the ball, keep the ball in, also try to keep it low. Instead, I'm going for an offensive tip down to tip up windshield wiper, trying to pull him off the court. I pop up the ball high here. He's able to take it out of the air, and he does beautiful manipulation here, okay? So his head's going one way, paddle's going the other. And then he puts it at the chicken wing position of my opponent, of my partner. He still gets this. I mean, he hits a backhand. He's acting like he's hitting a backhand. Gets to the forehand, pops the ball up, and now the point's over. And that's all just simply because I was being offensive at the wrong time. It's not a high percentage shot. So that, for me, would be a bad miss, like how we talked about before. That's an example of a bad miss. A good miss would be the ball's out in front of me, or it's at least in between my legs. I'm not being pulled off of the court trying to create offense. Instead, it's in front of me in this position. Let's see if we even have it in front of me here. Yeah, here. Here's in front of me. I don't know what I'm doing in that position, but I could keep that ball out in front of me. That might be a good shot to be offensive with. And let's say I was offensive with it and I popped it up. That's a good miss, okay? So there's good misses and there's bad ones. All right, a little sneaky. Okay, return comes in, drives down the line. We're following principles, right? We're following the correct strategy. Drop goes cross. The drive drop combo is the most effective combo to use. Okay, now in this position, if I'm gonna speed up the ball and I'm hovering over from this low position, I don't recommend doing this until you've gotten 10,000 reps in of doing this from a low position. My opponent recognizes that their line is open and so do I. So since they recognize that, I'm not gonna go up the line. Instead, I'm gonna cross body them. So this is a cross body attack. I go across their body. I think it hits the net. Dang. Kind of screwed me over, but hits the net from that position, and then he's able to dink it, and now I put that one down the line. So I'm manipulating him by, he doesn't know where I'm gonna attack because I didn't go for the open court, and so now he's in a position where when I hit the next speed up, he doesn't know if I'm gonna go across his body or if I'm gonna go down the line. And in this instance, so the first one, cross the body, gets to it, next one down the line. Just as simple as that. I'm changing those positions, following the principle of don't go for the open court because they're gonna cover it, go across their body, and then go for the open court. It sets you up really well. Obviously, you have to change this up and it becomes intuitive as time goes on. Again, that comes down to getting reps in. All right, sorry, the camera angle for the 5-0 wasn't the best, but you can still see what's going on. So we're gonna use it because there's a lot of good stuff in here. So serve, return, he pulls me out wide. I'm dropping cross, again, following principles. Pulls me out wide again. Now from this position, I have lots of options. I'm not exactly on offense and I'm not exactly on defense. I'm kind of at that in-between stage since I'm at mid-court. I'm not leaning back either, right? So I'm in that in-between stage. I can hit a dink cross court, pull my opponent off the court, or I can do this, okay? And this is just simply because I'm pretty comfortable hitting this shot and I do it a lot, where I'll hit a slice, speed up. I'll do the same thing on the forehand side. The main thing with this slice speed up is notice where my body goes after I make contact. In, towards the court, towards the middle of the court. If I go in towards the middle of the court, but the ball goes out, not out, but you know what I mean, down the line, then that manipulates my opponents into thinking that the ball is gonna go cross court because that's where my body moved. So body movement is essential. It's the same exact thing on the forehand side. You're running out for a dink and you move in as you make contact with the ball. You move into the inside of the court. That'll automatically manipulate your opponents into thinking that the ball is going where your body's going. The ball is gonna go where your body goes. So practice having the ball go where your body doesn't go in this situation. So pretty fun point. All right, on to the next one. Blew it. Okay, that was a really good point. And there's something specifically here that if you understand and you implement in your next match, you're gonna win way more points just simply from this. Okay, we drop the ball up the middle. Okay, this hits the net, right? And in this position, I got JW Johnson as my partner, it looks like, right? In this position, some of you will understand that, others won't. I lob the ball. A lot of players will get to this ball and they'll try to just either keep the ball in or hit a nice little soft dink. Since I'm running and I'm rushing to get up to this ball, it's gonna be hard for me to have enough control to hit a dink. Also, it's not gonna make sense to speed it up to my opponent since it's so close to the net. I'm gonna have to hit up. Ball's either gonna go way out or they're just gonna hit an overhead at my face. Lob, so we're lobbing from this position. This is a fantastic strategy to use. Now we're completely in control. Pull our opponent off the court. I should have put that ball here up the middle, but he actually placed a fantastic ball low in this position. The reason I want to go middle there is because the ball is low and my opponents are back. So since they're back and the ball is low, I go middle and I wait for them to hit a ball out wide, either to me or my partner. And as soon as that ball goes above my head, I can then hit the angle. Instead, I go up the line and I miss it by a couple of inches. From this angle, it looks like it's way in. It was out, 100%. But main thing to focus on here is if the ball clips the net, lob. Your opponents are leaning forward. Whenever the ball clips the net, they're ready to attack. Notice, they're leaning forward. Now they're going back. And now they're late getting to that lob. All right, we got one more from the 5.0 level. And that's great defense. All right, letting out balls go out. Like how we talked about before. At this level, everybody's letting the out ball go out, right? This reset here is just disgusting, okay? So he's resetting the ball into the kitchen. I pull them cross court. The decision here is 100% either dink up the middle or dink cross court. You can't be offensive with this shot unless you have that ATP opportunity, which he doesn't. He tries to be offensive and the ball goes out and we get out of the way. All right, surprise, there's actually one more 501 to analyze. Nice hand battle. We haven't really seen any of those. You can hardly see it with this camera angle, but we do what we can. So return comes in, I'm driving up the middle. Not the best decision, automatically puts my opponents on defense. Instead, I should drop this ball. Okay. I'm not in a good position, I'm leaning back. It's gonna make sense to just drop that ball cross court. I could also drive it directly up the line. That way it's not gonna get put directly on my partner. But I go up the middle, they're both on it like a blue bonnet, and then perfect reset to get us started into the point. Now I'm automatically in an awkward position and I'm speeding up from a low position. Like how I talked about before, we're changing things up as we get up to higher levels. This is 100% a change up. Look how low that ball is. This doesn't make much sense to speed up, but I go cross body and my opponent is on top of it. Okay, and so he hits it to my partner. My partner thankfully got the ball. I kind of screwed him over there and he completely had it. So now we're in this hand battle, and our whole goal with the hand battle is to get the ball down. The first player to hit the ball down is oftentimes, most oftentimes, the player that's going to win the point. So we're attempting to get the ball down. I should have gotten one of these at their feet. And now, as soon as the ball goes here, I'm at a higher position here. I'm going to the player directly in front of me because it's going to put the ball on him. Is it over my head? No. But I'm at a high position and I can crack down on that ball. Can I get it at his feet? No. Had it been higher, I would have been able to. But I wouldn't say this is a bad decision hitting it to him because he doesn't have a lot of time to react. And now they're both back in this position and I hit a huge angle overhead. My attempt is to try to just hit a winner over there because I'm not in the middle of the court hitting the ball. Since I'm on my partner's side, I can create angles from this position. It's above my head. I could have just as easily hit this ball up the middle and then got a pop up on the next one. Probably would have been a bit better decision, but again, it worked out. And it's not like it was a bad decision by trying to go for that angle because I had a little bit of an angle. All right, now we're into the 5.5 match. So yeah, we don't have any clips from 5.1 to 5.4. So we're directly to the 5.5. This will be the last match we're analyzing. So really good shots from the player that hit the third shot. From the team that served, I guess is the easier way to say it. Cross court, high percentage, that's what we're seeing at this level. Cross court again. Gets it directly at his feet. He's in this awkward position. Places it perfectly up the line. Now, like how I said before, if you've watched the entire video or if you just fast forwarded to here, regardless, you'll understand this. At higher levels, you're gonna hit more dinks up the line than at lower levels. At lower levels, you're not gonna hit much dinks in general. So when you are hitting dinks at lower levels, you want to be hitting those dinks cross court. At higher levels like this, we're hitting dinks up the line, moving our opponents around. And that's the entire point. We're looking for openings. And since we're higher level, we're more consistent than lower level players, which is completely obvious, right? We all know that. And so since we're more consistent, we can go for a lower percentage shot, which is going to be a dink up the line over the higher part of the net and pull our opponents off of the court. And so he goes directly up the line here, and I go for a forehand because I like my forehand more than my backhand. And now I'm going up the line, specifically pulling him off of the court. I'm pulling him back into a defensive position. He then goes cross court. I cut it off at the middle. You could say this is middle. It's going cross court too. I cut it off at the middle and I speed up this shot. Not the smartest speed up, and here's why. If I speed up from this low position, okay, the ball is below the net, at the player that is back, they have way more time to react than the player that's forward. So the near left side player has way less time to react. Now, had I sped up this ball to the near left side player's chicken wing position, he's either popping up the ball or gonna just straight up miss. And then, you know, rarely, I'm giving myself the best chance, but 20% of the time, he's gonna hit a winner. All of a sudden, just straight off of it. Maybe he's just holding a forehand. You never know what's gonna happen. But that's only 20% of the time, so I'll take those odds, right? Instead, I go to the player that's back. He's in a good position, he has time to react. And so because of this, I'm now in defense, he's moving forward into the court, and he's in offense. And then he puts that ball away on my partner. So it was my mistake because I sped up in the wrong position. If I'm gonna make this decision to speed up this low ball, I have to make the correct decision to go to the player that's closer, unless of course this player is like way back on the baseline and I can keep them back. But I have to make the decision to go to the player that's closer because they have less time to react. That's gonna give me the best chance. So that was a bad miss, even though I wasn't the one that missed the ball. I set up the miss. All right, on to the next one. There's an example of exactly what we talked about last time. Let's start from the end of this point. He's at a low position here and he attacks the ball at the opponent that's directly in front of him, the closest distance. He doesn't have time to react. He actually hits his partner with the ball. That's just simply because that was the better speed up to do. Even though the speed up's not the best decision, that was the better that gave us the best chance to win the point. And as you saw, we won it. Had I done that in the point previous, it's probably a similar result to what we would have seen. There's at least an 80% chance that that's what we would have seen. Okay, back to the beginning of this point. As you can see, there's lots of moving the ball around. Drop goes up the middle, starting with the return too. Return goes up the middle. Hit majority of your turns up the middle. Down the middle solves the riddle, and that's just simply because it causes confusion in the middle. So down the middle, specifically when you're playing a lefty and a righty combo like this, both players are going to want to hit that ball. And so it can cause confusion. Sometimes you'll get a winner, other times you'll get them hitting paddles, stuff like that. Now, something to pay attention to as soon as we get to the net. Down the middle is a little bit scarier because they have two forehands in the middle. Yes, it might cause confusion, but even if they hit paddles, they still are hitting a forehand on that ball. And it's going to come a lot faster than if they were hitting a backhand. Something to pay attention to. Cross court, and then our tactic is we want to dink to the guy that's lefty. We want to specifically get it to his backhand. And I want to get him in a dinking exchange with my partner because I trust that my partner's forehand dink is going to be better than his backhand dink. And so we're trying to get into that rather than a neutral dinking session between two righties on the left side. We'd just be hitting backhands back and forth. So I cut it up the line, and now I'm exactly where we want to be. Okay, they're in this cross-court dinking exchange. And as you can see, telltale sign, he doesn't like this. He does not want to be in a cross-court dinking exchange with my partner. He puts the ball up the line. And so to that I say, no thank you. And I put it back at his backhand. And specifically, I'm preventing him from coming back up the line to me by coming in to Ernie the ball. So as you can see, I do a stutter step here. I'm ready to Ernie. I have all the time in the world. I see that he goes cross, and I stay. You have more time to Ernie than you think. Okay, he hits a really good dink up the middle here. This is smart because it's to my opponent's backhand. Anyways, we're sticking with this line. Now he's late contact here. I have to reset the ball, and now I'm going cross court. If I hit this ball up the line, am I going to be consistent at hitting it? No. So I'm going cross court, I'm going to the high percentage shot. That's exactly what I do. And now I'm back up the line. Now you might think he should Ernie these balls every single time. The reason that he's not is because I'm not projecting that I'm going up the line. I'm not being pulled off of the court looking down. My paddle face is also facing cross court for as long as possible before I cut. So I'm cross and then I cut up the line, cutting that underside of the ball. Now, could he catch me on one of these? By guessing, yes. And then he speeds it up to the player directly in front of him, which we talked about before. The player that's closer is going to make the most sense because they have the least time to react. Okay, we were in defense pretty much that whole point. And all it came down to was we were making good decisions, going cross court, resetting the ball when the ball is low, beating up the ball when the ball is high, and then we finished with an ATP. Serve, return, nice deep return, beautiful. And I drive, that's the first mistake. I should not be driving to this player. Had he hit this at my partner's feet, my partner would have been in trouble, okay? But instead he hit it to me, which I'm grateful for. Gives me a better chance. Again, he hit that one to me, and now he hits to my partner. He probably should have hit the previous two to my partner. But we're going high percentage nonetheless. You know, cross court, trying to keep every ball cross court. Specifically with that reset, I have the most distance to go to. He puts me in a defensive position. I'm literally on a knee, and I go cross court with my reset. Now we're in a cross court dink exchange. He's in control. As you can see, I'm reaching for this ball. I'm also popping it up. He's in complete control of this point. I was thankful enough to be able to hit the ball short. He then pulls me off the court, and I hit an ATP. Again, I'm brushing over that ball, hitting topspin. Don't hit underspin on an ATP because it'll just sail long. He goes to the perfect ATP defense position, but that one is honestly just too good at the feet, and it's low, and it gets you in that butt crack position where it gets perfectly in the middle of your edge of your paddle and the court. Obviously, it's not like I'm trying to do that, but I am aiming for feet. Always aiming for feet, always aiming for shoelaces. That's what puts your opponent in an awkward position. All right, on to the next point. That's a great lob. Yeah, that was in. So everybody here in this point is making good decisions throughout the entire point. Okay, first of all, that drive comes down the line. I'm saying down the line because it's to me, even though it's slightly up the middle. Down the line and up the middle is great. We're hitting overheads. He thinks this shot's going out. He could hit this shot probably with a backhand. Might be too high, I don't know. But he's letting it bounce because he thinks it's going out. And then he hits a fantastic drop, okay, that keeps us in the point. Notice, I'm still up, but I'm watching. A lot of players will be up and they'll watch, and then as soon as they see that that drop is going high, they stay and they're stuck in mud. We want to back up as soon as we recognize that the ball is high, but we need to see how high. Is it above shoulder height? If so, I should be back past mid-court. If it's below shoulder height, I can handle being at mid-court, right? If it's gonna land in the kitchen, then I want to have more time than less time to be up at the kitchen. So I'm hanging out because I know that I have time, and I see that that ball is gonna be pretty low, okay? So I'm just above mid-court in this position. Not the easiest reset in the world. And then cross court, this is what is the game changer for this point. It's his decision to hit this dink, to hit this drop, cross court. Gives him all the time in the world to come up to the kitchen line. And now we're in the point. Next shot's up the middle. He could speed up this ball. He decides not to. We're both back. That's probably why. He probably could have applied more pressure by speeding the ball up. But great decision to dink that ball cross court again. And then he runs around this and he has a huge load. So we're thinking he's speeding up this ball, right? So it's a good decision. I'm covering middle. As you can see, I'm on my backhand side. My paddle is pointing towards where the ball is. If you ever cross court from the ball, point your paddle tip towards where the ball is. If you're ever directly in alignment with the ball, if it's directly up the line from you, you want to align your chest with where the ball is. So if it's up the line from me, my chest is where the ball is. If it's cross court from me, my paddle tip is pointing towards where the ball is. Just like how you see in this clip, my paddle tip's pointing towards the ball so that I can cover the middle. If instead my paddle's directly out in front of me, I'm gonna have a harder time getting to my backhand side and covering the middle. That's the shot that he can hit that's gonna get on us the fastest, right? If he speeds it up the middle. If instead he goes cross court, like how we talked about back in, I can't remember if it was 4.5, 4.6. It was 4.6. The guy sped it up cross court to me and it went across my body. If they ever speed up cross court to you across your body, the ball has to go out. I tried to get out of the way and it hit my paddle because he hit it fast enough. So I'm pointing towards the ball. And now look, I have all the time in the world to get to my forehand side because it goes across my body with a dink instead. And then I just simply cut that ball up the line to the open court. If he gets to this ball that I cut up the line, let's say that he did, he's gonna be late. It's gonna be a pop-up. And then I'm gonna be able to put away the next shot. That's everything for this video. If you wanna see more videos like this and get better at pickleball, be sure to subscribe to Pickleball Playbook. Don't forget to download the Pickleball Drills app if you wanna improve your pickleball game faster than you ever thought possible. And watch this video right here if you wanna continue hanging out with us and learning more about pickleball.